I would like all of you to welcome Neetha.
I met Sridevi actually.
What?
And they took me to Chiranjeevi and introduced me to him, and I was sitting next to him. Chiranjeevi Garu took me to Sridevi and introduced me saying that she's
No
your
way,
biggest fan.
Chiranjeevi Garu is so sweet. Chiranjeevi Garu, if you are watching this podcast for some reason, you have to give a call back to Neetha. What keeps you going?
When I was teaching those kids, I started seeing the Neetha come back.
Were you always confident?
I was always clear about what I want.
Yeah.
How Nachle happened is I was doing local events. They were giving me limitations. I wanted more. That's what drove me to say, you know what, I'm going to do my own show.
Did Neetha ever had a plan?
When I did Nachle 1, I had no clue what to do. To do anything, you need to have passion, and we actually use passion very loosely, right? I'm very passionate. I love something. Passion without persistence is nothing. So as a leader, over the years, I have realized my school should give every kid what they want.
That is an aspirational leader.
The crucial part comes in August is assigning kids to classes. I know why I am there in a dance class on a Sunday. To motivate a group of people, you have to show progress. To show progress, you have to have competition. The minute you have competition, there is disappointment.
You've become what you hated.
Yeah.
When did dance start becoming an important part of your life?
I always dance. My father, he would ask me a glass of water. By the time the water came to him, the water must have been spilled, all over because I was dancing and coming.
Is dancing about purpose?
Yes, I was an outlier. I just didn't like school. Where every day my mom would try to send me to school and I would come back.
How did your parents contribute to that?
As I said, they never said no.
How has all of that shaped Neetha into a mother?
Neetha mother goes back to my mother. She did tell me, oh, everybody is doing, engineering, doctor. Why don't you become a filmmaker?
You're a reverse case, Neetha.
So I was a big Sridevi fan. My mom used to make the outfit for me. She didn't even realize what she was doing is because she was saying, actually, I can dream like the artist. In my 10th grade, I found this great teacher. They used to live in one bedroom kind of studio. To teach me, they had to get up early, the entire family, at 8 a.m. so that their living room becomes my studio for me. When I was 24, I actually ruptured my disc, which basically caused me to have like severe sciatica. I couldn't walk for a few months. And I would keep thinking, why me? Something came back to me, say, why not you? What are you doing with your legs?
All of us went through some unprecedented times when COVID hit.
So what happened was we were getting ready for the show. I had almost 200 students at that time. We are ready to go on stage. And in March, we had lockdown.
One of the few people that have inspired me in my first meeting itself is here today. And I would like all of you to welcome Neetha. Neetha, welcome to Jack of All.
Thank you. Thank you, Adi.
So, where are you from, Neetha?
I'm from India, raised mostly in Hyderabad. So after that, I came to US, Seattle.
Most of your life, before US, you've spent it in Hyderabad?
Yes.
Your childhood as well?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Actually, my initial days, I was in Guntur.
Okay.
Until I think I was third grade.
Wow.
Yeah. It's a town in Andhra Pradesh.
Which is very famous for the karam.
Yes. Guntur
Because
Karam.
everyone who's not from Guntur knows Guntur for the karam.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask someone from Guntur if it is truly the most iconic thing out of Guntur. And I know it's just a few hours drive from Hyderabad.
Yes.
So what made you move from Guntur to Hyderabad?
My dad actually moved because of his work, right? He was an engineer, government employee. So he moved, he got opportunities in Hyderabad. So we moved from Guntur.
And how long have you been in Seattle?
25 years this
Wow.
year.
How did Neetha, this little kid somewhere in Guntur and moved to Hyderabad, became this software engineer, works at Microsoft for the last so many years, and also has a successful dance establishment which is truly founded in value and respect from the students that you teach? Can you share a little bit more about your journey from what family you were born in, how was your childhood like, and when did dance start becoming an important part of your life?
I was born in Nellore, which is my mom's hometown. She was raised there, and but for the first part of my life, I think until third grade, I was raised in Guntur. I was an outlier, I have to say, um, especially in school setting. um, I just didn't like school, which was a big part of my first few years of my life. I was actually scared to go to school. So there's a funny thing that used to happen in my life, where every day my mom would try to send me to school and I would come back. And my dad,
Before the school ends or
no,
in between?
start
Oh,
in the.
she
And I'm
left you
talking
and you were
about.
following her.
And I'm talking about when I'm 5 years old. That's what I remember, right? And this is everybody in my house remembers this, so it's not.
It's a running
it's
joke.
it's a running joke. So every day morning, you're talking about a 5-year-old Neetha, 6-year-old Neetha. She wouldn't come out of the bathroom. So by time as much as
Yeah.
possible. And then somehow at some point I have to come because my mom wants me, and my brother is very disciplined, so he wanted to go to school on time and he's waiting for me. And my father would take me in our scooter, and I would stand in front of my father scooter, like, when he's driving, and my brother. This is my core memory, and I think this is very important. So I would go, and my father would stop in front of the school gate, this big school gate, and I would look at him and start, the tears would just drop, and my father would just bring me back. There is no conversation. He would just bring me back, and my mother would be waiting with a rickshaw because she knows my father would bring me back, and then she used to take me. And I think in the school setting, it was, I think, I would say I was outlier because they were asking me to fit in, which I was not able to, because everybody is doing something, but I'm not able to either catch up or I don't want to do. I think that was my first, when I was like, no, I can't do what everybody is doing, but I couldn't articulate at that
Wow.
time. And I think the system in India was a little bit more harsh, the punishments, which I think I was fighting the system. But out and out, I think the beauty of this story is that what my dad did is, she's not ready, right? When she's ready, she will go. And I think that is the most important thing.
I think not just you, even your parents were outliers in the way they dealt with the situation.
Lot of interest that I have, it's actually my dad subtly introducing me to, like, music, dance. I know we used to watch Oscars together, walking red carpet. I want to walk Oscar red carpet one day,
You will.
like, in fact, one time, couple times he would actually take us to Banjara Hills, Jubilee Hills. We are
Sure,
middle class
actress.
family, right? But he would actually say, "Oh, this is Chiranjeevi's house. This is he would Nagesh Rao's house." One time I asked, when I was older, why are you actually doing this? He would actually, whoever comes, he would actually take. And my father said, with whatever I could do, I'm giving you this life. If I don't show what you can do, if you work hard more, how will you know how to dream for? So I think he always had that philosophy of both my parents,
Visualizing
actually.
it for you.
Yeah. My mom. So I was a big Sridevi fan. Big.
No surprise.
I would always look into the mirror and
Yeah.
ask my dad, "Do I look like Sridevi?" And I must be like 7, 8 years old.
And what did he say?
He would say, "Yes, Papa." He's a man of very few
Few
words.
words.
But my mom nurtured the other side of me in a different way. So if I would go to a movie as a child, I had so much attention to detail, grasping. I would literally learn the songs by heart, and the the choreography, and what the heroine is wearing. Everything. I would just come and I would keep talking about it. And my mom would actually, every Sunday for church, she would actually make some outfit for me because she was actually good at it. So she sometimes when I would watch a Sri Devi song and I would like, oh, I like this, and my mom used to make the outfit for me. I think she didn't even realize what she was doing is because she was saying, actually, I can look like her, or I can dream like the artists, or the superstars. I think naively she just did it because she had the skill in her hands and she loved to dress me up. So she would actually encourage me to dress up nicely. If I'm dancing, both my parents encouraged me. They loved it. So yeah, that
Yeah.
was yeah. I always dance. I mean, I think I was not very good at it, but I always danced. In fact, my father, if he would ask me a glass of water, by the time the water came to him, the water must have been spilled, all over because I was dancing and coming, and he stopped asking me to get water, I guess, after that. But I always danced. Sridevi definitely played a big role. We have to give it to her. I think I was imitating her. I somehow was relating to her more than people around me. And I would just imitate her body language, dance, and I picked up. So, whatever songs she would do, I would try to practice at home and self taught myself, but at a very, 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 very young age. And by the time I would say 12, 13, I used to choreograph and I would teach my cousins. So I have 12, we are 12 cousins. So I would do these choreographies very naively when I was 12, 13 years old. And I had a group of people who would listen to me and make them dance. And we used to give a performance to my grandparents. And my grandfather used to sit and watch. So every summer, it became like a rhythm for us, where I would do these small, choreographies, and my cousins would perform for the family.
So Nachle 0 point minus 1 minus
Yeah,
2
yeah.
Nachle. So Nachle, very interesting actually. I want to pause your flow there a little bit. How did your parents contribute to that? Were they encouraging?
As I said, they never said no. I think I am like this only because for them they were not associating our achievements as their identity. So I never saw my dad identify himself with my grades or what I am achieving. Even today, I don't think for him I'm just his kid. My mom was very interested to send me into movies. I think she saw something that actually now I feel like I have to give it to her, because she did tell me, oh, everybody is doing engineering, doctor. Why don't you become a filmmaker? You can actually, you don't have to be in front of the
Camera.
camera. You actually can go to film school, learn direction, so I was like, no, everybody is actually either engineer or a doctor, right? Like, what else?
You're a reverse case, Neetha, because I can tell you n number of people who would be like, I wish my parents told me when I was 11 years old, go become a filmmaker, and I would have happily. So, what made you think the other way around, where you
Actually,
only
I
wanted to be
was
a doctor or an engineer?
so I have a physiotherapy degree back home, and then that's a different story. How what I've learned in the 4 years in that physiotherapy, because I was out of my home at 18, traveling literally 20-25 hours to go to the college. Uh, so I finished physiotherapy. I came to US to pursue physiotherapy, but when I came here, everybody around me is Microsofties. So I didn't have any friends. So I got married and came. So my husband was working at Microsoft, and all his friends, who were his friends from his Temple University, were all Microsofties. So again, I'm in a situation where I am an outlier, where I'm the only one who is a medical student, and everybody else is a
Is a
software
software
engineer.
engineer
And
working for
it seems like
Microsoft.
I'm dumb, like little whatever they are conversing, it's
Yeah.
like, you know.
Yeah.
So I did go and pursue client server programming in Bellevue College. That is an interesting. There is an interesting twist also for that is because I was trying to see what I can do with physiotherapy. So I did the credential evaluation because mine was a 3.5 year degree. They asked me to basically do some courses to make sure that basically I can meet, their standards and maybe pursue masters in physiotherapy because that is what is needed in Washington State to be a physiotherapist, and they changed the rules. And long story short, my husband convinced me saying that, hey, you can actually do client server programming associate degree in Bellevue College because you get all the necessary general studies, which is like sociology, English, and like some arts, because that's what they asked me to do, not like the main. They just gave me three like physiotherapy courses versus like a list of general studies. He said, oh, why don't you do this? You will get everything, and then you can do the three of the on the side. I went and did it. I did pretty good, by the way. I was showing my daughter's my grades. I had my horse laced. So I did. Though I never liked. I always had this mindset, like fixed mindset, saying I will not be good engineer or good at computers. I had that because I was a science student and I didn't enjoy math that much. But I kind of did pretty good, and I did couple of so the three courses that I did for credential evaluation. The turning point why I did not choose physiotherapy comes there because it was like 3-4 days workshop kind of so I did wound care and a few others. So I don't remember now, but let's say I did wound care, right? Every time I was going and doing these courses for physiotherapy, the last one day was all about how to file insurance. And basically that was a big turn off for me. Like, oh, like now I have to understand how to file insurance and like, how to. So this whole insurance thing, medical insurance, really kind of the doctor in me
Left your body.
This is like,
Wow. So actually, I would like to pause because I think we got a little ahead in your life. I wanted to still be at around like, when you were 14,
Yeah, yeah.
15 years old. From there, nobody actually asked you to enroll in a dance class, and why did your mother not pursue you to become a filmmaker? How did you go from there to physiotherapy?
okay.
That one I need to know.
My parents never forced anything on us. So let me start there. Like there is none, they are not giving us like a cheat sheet to pursue something. They are saying you figure out. It's a different parenting other
Absolutely.
than like, so if I like dancing, then I have to go find a
Teacher
dance
myself.
teacher, and especially if I'm 14, 12, 13 years old.
How was this expectation from your parents clear to you? Or is it clear now?
It's clear now.
It
It
wasn't
was
clear
not
earlier?
very, yeah. I mean, obviously, if I go and say I want to be enrolled in, so my dad and mom would have said, okay, what form? I have to figure out, right? Like, so then I found like so I came to know that there was some local teacher who was teaching Bharatanatyam. So then I convinced my mom. I took her there, and then I was denied. By the way, because I was Christian, I was denied.
Wow.
And I think there is reasons for her. I'm gonna. It's not a negative thing. I
Yeah.
think the teacher understands
Yeah.
that I might not have the right foundation to
Yeah.
basically pursue maybe
Yeah.
to a level where it will benefit me maybe. So my one of my mom's friend found a teacher, Kathak teacher, Anju Babu Garu. So he was willing to teach me Kathak.
Beautiful.
And by then I was, I think, as I mentioned, right, like when I was teaching my cousins, I used to think I was very good. Actually, I thought I was very good. My cousins are dancing really nicely and everyone is appreciating. I thought I was very, very good dancer.
At your level, you were probably.
Until the video cameras came. I think that was the biggest turning point. So around when we all could have our video cameras, I was like, oh my god, I am bad. Like I am really, really bad. So that was a turning point, and I said no, no. And by that time, Madhuri entered the scene too, right? So I was like, okay, I can learn Kathak, like but I needed some discipline, some. I am self-teaching myself. I'm completely self-taught, all the Bollywood dancing, but I needed some, like
Structure.
structure and like foundation. And I realized that as a 16-year-old, I
That
think
is
14, 15, I don't remember, but I did it in my 10th grade. So I realized that no, I need something. And then I found this great teacher. It was such a humbling experience because to teach me, they used to live in one bedroom kind of studio kind of apartment. To teach me, they had to get up early, the entire family at 8 a.m. So if I would go at 8 a.m., the entire family used to get up so that their living room becomes my
studio.
studio for me. And I learned like that for 3 years under him.
Wow.
So, and by the way, so I found the teacher right through sources, and my aunt helped me. Even to go to this class, my dad believed that if you are passionate, you would walk and go. So it's
Your
not
dad
like
is your dad is very hot and cold kind of a guy, I would say.
yeah, I
But
think he
that's very good.
practices
Yeah.
detachment with love very very
Wow,
nicely. Yeah,
detachment with love.
yeah. But I think that's what he was teaching me. It doesn't come easy. That I think that's what my parents were teaching me at that time. If you're passionate, you will make it happen. If that means you have to walk for 30 minutes in the morning, okay, I want to see you walk. But I'm not forcing you
Yeah.
to. This is your. So they are like very. This is yours. So you are going to drive, and if you're passionate, you'll do something about it. There's, as I said, they are not associating my achievements with
Yeah.
as theirs.
So after 3 years of Kathak, did you do like in Kathak? Do you have Arangetram or
No,
anything?
I didn't do
of this?
Arangetram, but I did couple of performances for my guru.
Okay, you did.
I didn't do because then I had to go to do physiotherapy.
That's what. Yeah. Why suddenly move to physiotherapy after doing Kathak for 3 years?
I think that's life. It's you are peer pressured into it. I still didn't figure it out. I think I didn't
Yes.
figure it out. Um, we can do a lot of things. That's the problem, right? Like you can do everything, and channeling your energy to one thing. Maybe at that time I didn't have enough understanding of myself and what I want to channel that. But I can say that I was not forced to do anything in my life. Whether it was my choice to be a
Yeah.
physiotherapist.
So an important thing I want to interrupt you here for, you mentioned just now, which is actually the core of the show. It's okay. You can do a lot of things. Physiotherapy doesn't stand out in your entire, life's journey right now, but it does have some contribution
Yeah.
to all the other, things that you could do or you could not do. Maybe it made you understand fitness better. Maybe it make you understand how to tell your students to be,
Yeah,
more
yeah.
careful
Oh,
when they injure themselves. So this is what Jack of all is all about. It's nothing wrong, nothing right. You have your own definition of success. You have your own definition of failure. You tell us how you're doing it. What keeps you going when you feel not so motivated now that you have this business, right? A lot of students depend on you on a yearly basis. They look up to Neetha, like, for some kids you are just like a superstar. I am going to have this dance show in September and I have to prepare for it. What keeps you going despite all the other challenges that you face in your life?
I think what keeps me going is definitely, I have to say, it's love for dance and teaching kids. I love, because I think that going back to when I was teaching my cousins, right? I loved interacting with people, right? And especially children, because it's I think I love kids, and I think you can learn a lot from kids because they are next gen, right? Like you are learning a lot. So I think I learn a lot from kids. Um, and I love my love for dance. I think that is what keeps me going. But but there is an incident in my life that plays a big role in why I am like that now. When I actually came here to US and got married and came here with a lot of dreams, around when I was 24, I had a disc rupture. It's a wear and tear. So I did a back bend showing someone in some dance that I was doing, and I actually ruptured my disc, which basically caused me to have like severe sciatica, right leg sciatica. So I couldn't actually walk for a few months. Um, that's it. Like you come to America and then you think it's this is the, and then I can't even walk, by the way, for like so I would lie down. I think that was a good time for me to kind of, because now I can't even move, right? One thing I was enjoying was going to pro club when I was here, and I couldn't go. 2 3 months I was lying, and I would keep thinking, why me, or why it happened, right? Like, and how to overcome this. So as I said, I was always I had this philosophy, right? When I have a problem, I'm not thinking about the problem, I'm thinking about how to solve the problem. But this is a problem that I can't solve. I think this was the first time where I was hit with something that I cannot solve it. Though I was a physiotherapist, I was doing everything. I was,
Yes.
right, like the treatment, right? I was giving myself, but it's not going. The pain is not going. And the worst part of having a sciatic pain is that it doesn't go. Even it stays with you when you're sitting, standing, it's there. It's there. It is telling you I am there. Being a physiotherapist actually played a big role here is because I was able to see my situation in a different lens. And if I was not a physiotherapist, I think I would have been depressed or devastated. I think I was seeing it as a physiotherapist, and I was
Wow.
trying to ask myself how I can solve the
You
problem.
were seeing it technically, more
Yes,
objectively.
I was doing that. But interestingly, as I said, I'm very spiritual. I have conversations with God. In one of my conversation with God, I think I was like, why, right? Like why me? I'm just 24 years old. Like it's too early for me
Yeah.
to have such a,
Yeah.
and my dad also at the same time was having the same problem for both of his legs. So for me it was like it's hard, right? So I'm too young, right? That's what I'm saying. I'm okay, my dad,
Yeah.
something actually came back to me, say, why not you? What are you doing with your legs? And if you have legs, what would you do? In that, conversations with God and myself. And actually, that was like a very thought provoking thing that I had. Like, that's right, I'm actually not doing anything. To be honest, I could just be like this. And I went to a couple of neurologists, and one neurologist said, hey, you have a couple options. You can live with it, you could do xyz to fix it, or you non-surgical things to fix it, or you can go for surgery. What would you want? I said I want it to be fixed. I don't think I want a life where I cannot walk or I cannot do things. I think it's important for me. So I actually scheduled the operation date and everything, surgery date and everything. And then my mom convinced me to come and, come to India and rest for a few months before. So then we came to a, I told myself, okay, maybe surgery is the last resort. I will try to see what my options are. And then they actually told me I can get an epidural steroid injection. So which I did. And then I went to India for 3 months. First month was very, painful. Like I couldn't walk. And then slowly the pain went away and it's gone. Okay, I'm back, right? I think that plays a big role in my life is I have vested interest to be dancing and walking and put these legs to some purpose, because if not, what's the point?
Is dancing about purpose? Is
Yes.
dancing your purpose?
Yes,
What?
dancing. I mean, of course, that I realized later, right? Like, I got this opportunity when one of my friends saw me in some show where I was dancing with my friend. And by then, I had my first kid, who was 3 years old. She asked me if I could actually teach 4 kids, 4, 5, and 6-year-old kids. This was 18 years back. To teach a dance where they can actually do it on a Telugu local event. I did it, and after I did that, see, this is where I think the turning point came. Right, like I came here. I talked about how the stop. When I was teaching those kids, I started seeing the Neetha come back. I started remembering how I was because I forgot. Like,
Is this what rediscovering yourself?
yeah,
means?
it was like it was rediscovering myself, remembering how I used to feel when I was 12, 13 years old, when I was actually teaching my cousins. That joy, that started coming back. Such a core memory for me, and it's the happiest moments of my life when I was making something, like being creative, right? The best part was my daughter, Kushi, was getting a play date. I didn't have to really work hard, you know. And then she started dancing with the group, and I have to say, one of my friend who actually was a mother of one of the kids, the first set of kids. She basically after the first after we did the first one, she came back and she said, "You have to take money. You can't do this service for free."
So you're doing this for free initially?
I mean, it's volunteer, right?
Yeah.
Like they asked. I mean, I didn't even know that someone will pay for this skill. I didn't even think I had a skill. First of all, to be honest, discovery is that I had a skill. I think that's what we have to teach the kids now is the skills you have. How do you know that is a skill that is monetizable, right? I actually, the first thing I said, someone pays for this. Like I said, no, we cannot do it. Like, we feel obligated. Like you're coming and you're doing such a good job. You have to do it. And by then I was working. I didn't need this as a primary money for. I said, no, I don't want to do it. I mean, you are my friends. How can I? And she insisted. And I think she saw something that even I didn't see.
Yeah. That's how it happens, actually.
Yeah. So I actually give, sometimes I call her and, message her and say, and she said no.
I mean, this is a good opportunity to give her a direct message forever.
Yeah, she's my friend Madhu. She knows, I keep telling her. So, Madhu Muva. So, and she was like, no, you have to take money. And all of them, like it's, specifically she was very little bit, she used to give me goals and, push me a little bit more, I would say. And I said, okay. And she said, no, if you are not taking, we are not going to come to you. I'm like, no, I love this. Like, it's like I'm putting these kids, teaching them, I used to do makeup and, it's so creative, right? Like, I used to actually stitch costumes for them.
Wow.
I was having a blast. I think that is when I started finding myself, not just purpose, joy. Like,
Joy,
right?
yeah.
First,
Yeah.
purpose came later, I would say.
Did you become like a child again, playing with your cousins almost?
Yes, I loved it. So I was like, okay, I'll take it. You decide what. They said, okay, $50 per month or like whatever. I said, okay, fine. You decide whatever you give. I never had a vision. it was flowing, right? I loved it.
So someone, maybe one of your students even, right? If they look at you today and your establishment today, they may think that Neetha always had a plan. Did Neetha ever had a plan?
No,
Polysteps.
no, 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 no. Bollysteps, no plan. The
And
plan was I love dancing and I love teaching kids. It was a safe place for me. The problem was at that time there was Pratidhwani, which was like an adult, group, and they were doing these amazing shows and all that. And I could go and audition there also, but they had like little bit schedules were different. By then I had a kid. This was a safe place for me where I could manage my own schedules and be with my. The best part is you are taking your child in this process, right? So I didn't have to take time out of my kid. I actually was giving time instead of waiting outside a classroom and giving my kid a class. I was the teacher and I'm actually interacting with her and the children, and we are making it a fun thing.
Yeah.
It was very good. At that time we would do shows, and then I would have like this. I would used to take them to Build-A-Bears, and they would buy them, with the money I was making, buy them Build-A-Bears. And it was such a, lovely experience.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it was more me having fun, rediscovering the dancer in me and the child in me, right? I think I'm a childlike person actually. I love colors. I love fabric. I'm able to put everything together and make something out of it, right?
You're a very craft-driven person, is what I can say. Because
Yeah.
I've also seen your production, and something I always wanted to mention as well here is one of your friends, Vinny.
Yeah.
She has an art studio that you collaborate with, and then I used to always wonder, like, where does this production and this creativity come from? And then when I saw you with your friend and dancing, and now that we are having a conversation, I think both of you are very craft intensive people.
Yeah.
Even the production has a lot of craft work in it rather than just decor or light and everything. So is that true?
Yeah, it's true. Actually, in fact, my friendship with Vinati Kanna, for the audience, it's almost 24 years now. We both actually bonded doing crafts only. So whenever we would meet, we are making it a craft
Session.
session. I always said this, that to do anything you need to have passion, and we actually use passion very loosely, right? I'm very passionate. I love something. But I feel like passion without persistence is nothing. You have to keep doing it over and over again until
Yeah.
make something out of it,
Yeah.
right? And you keep continuing, and it is limitless.
Yeah.
And then you have to have patience for it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and then you have to have the right people, who are rallying behind you. I think these four P's are so important, and they have definitely played. So 18 years I've been doing this, teaching here in this area, and I have to say it's not just passion. I have been very consistent and persistent about it. Did it regardless whether I'm doing it in garage or Medenbauer or local events or on the ground. My enthusiasm has never changed. And then I've had patience because I loved it.
Yeah.
There's nothing to hurry, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
enjoy.
Yeah.
And I met lovely people. All my friends who basically, this is an army of people. So this doesn't happen just like that, right? I think leaning in is something, asking for help. A lot of times kids don't know how to ask for help, but there are a lot of people who are going to help you. I think people definitely have an army of people who have helped me.
Are you and were you good at asking help?
Yes, I think I'm very, very vocal on. That's another thing, right? That is my personality.
Yeah.
And I think I was always clear about what I want.
Yeah. Were you always confident?
I actually don't know if I'm confident or not. I don't know. But I know whatever I am doing or do, I do it from my heart. I mean, it's coming from very deep place in my heart, and it's very well thought. So when I'm doing, I already know why I'm doing it. I might not do it confidently. but I want to do it. That is how I see it.
Makes sense.
If I had to only do things when I'm confident, I don't think I'll be sitting here today.
Makes sense.
I don't think I think I took every opportunity and I'm okay to be average. Like my father said, it's okay. Like, I don't even think I drive for perfection. Though people think I'm actually very organized but no, it's very, very fluid. I want to get an Oscar. I don't know how I'm going to get an Oscar. That's how I am. That's one of my dream. How Nachle happened is I was doing local events. They were giving me limitations in local events. So I think I wanted more. That's what drove me to say, no, you know what? I'm going to do my own show.
Yeah.
Oh, if I have to do my own show, then I have to do this properly.
Yeah.
If you're a good dancer, doesn't mean you'll be a good choreographer. And if you're a good choreographer, doesn't mean you're a good teacher,
Right.
first of all.
Right.
And just because I am good choreographer, good teacher, good dancer, and good costume maker doesn't mean I am an entrepreneur. That is very clear. They are all different skills.
Are you a good business person or not?
Now I am.
Now you are.
When I did Nachle 1, I kind of saved up all the money, for that show. I had $10,000, I think. And because I'm not spending, right? It's not.
And by the way, if people have not seen Nachle, I'm going to add some video clips to it so $10,000 won't even get you a single chair in the Nachle production stage.
This was 13 years back, right?
Wow.
So what empowered me is because I am this was my first step, right? So when I decided I'm gonna do a Nachle show, I needed money. So, and luckily because I saved all the money I was getting little bit from dancing only, I'm not taking from anyone. I said, you know what, I'm going to use this money as a learning thing. I'm going to think that I'm going to a school. So I'm paying this money to teach myself that I can do shows, because literally I had no clue what to do. Literally, no. I was a good choreographer. I was a good dancer, good at costumes, but I didn't even know what production crew was. So literally, I called up one contact from Pratidwani, and I asked. I wanted to, and she was also working in Microsoft, so we had like a lunch, and I said I wanted to see what do I need to do a show like Pratidwani show. And she said, oh, you need to have production crew, stage manager. Who is stage manager? I want to know who is I had I had no clue. And they had these, terms like gobos when it comes to lighting.
Yeah.
I didn't even know. And I got little bit information, but it was not good enough, obviously. But then I said, I went back after that meeting. I went back and said, it's okay. I'm going to lose my 10,000, but it's okay. I'm thinking that if I went through this show, even if one person did not buy a ticket, but I actually did the show, I will call myself successful. This was me PMing and coming up with a key result.
Yeah.
Very, very naively, right? Have an objective.
Yeah.
Okay, I wanted a Nachle
Which has
show.
nothing to do with revenue. So we are a pre-revenue startup that has proved its product, but we don't have any customers.
Let's do POC. Okay, and learn from it. Can I do it, right?
Yeah.
Will I like it, right?
Yeah.
Like Nachle 1 was that simple.
Yeah.
I didn't have any expectations, and I told myself I cannot think about what people think, because judgment will happen.
Who made it possible for you for Nachle 1? Friends, husband, mentor, kids?
I think my biggest backbone are my friends, my family. That's it. My husband, of course, was very supportive. In fact, we were just casually having this conversation. I had like 40 kids, and I was teaching on Sundays, right?
40 kids in your first year?
No.
First Nachle 1. I mean,
Nachle 1.
For Nachle 1.
35.
35 kids.
See, I started 18 years back.
Yeah.
Actually,
now-
one was only 12 years back, right?
Yeah.
So 12 years back, I barely got 30 kids in my hand, right? And by the way, two of them are my children, my kids, and then few are my
Friends'
friends,
kids,
friends'
yeah,
kids,
of
my
course.
best friends' kids. So 10 are just, you can say, in house. Rest are like 20 kids are outsiders, and my friends were also dancing.
Yeah.
I think my husband, by then he realized that good is only coming out of this craziness. My husband has played a very big role in where I am today, be it in Microsoft or like in Bollysteps. I think he has always challenged me like to see bigger picture or like have bigger vision. In fact, I told him my problems, and he was like, yeah, why can't you have your own school, like have your own show? And then he named it as
Bollysteps.
and he went and did all the
Registration.
he does take care of all my business
Legal.
aspects, even legal,
Yeah.
tax, everything. Rohan does. I am just a creative person,
I understand
right?
that.
So he is the backbone of it, but I think he's an enabler, I would say. He was not putting me in a box, just like my father. And I think that is for me the most empowering and enabling to be what I am.
Walk me through 1 year of preparation for this Nachle. Maybe next Nachle. What have to do for a whole year? Once Nachle 12 was over, to Nachle 13 begins, what all you have to do with the rest of the team and how many people are involved? Walk me through very quickly onto that.
So first of all, after Nachle is over, I relax. I mean, there's nothing.
You take a vacation?
No, I actually, for the first week, I am just absorbing what I have. I'm very, very critical, so I don't like seeing the videos because I don't like anything I delivered. So nothing to do with my students or anything. I just have. So I think I deliver 10% of what I have imagined. So there'll be a time where I'm thinking I could have done this. So I'm already starting to think about the learnings and but in a different mode because there's time, right? So I'm relaxed and I'm thinking about it. What could have been better? What are the things I have to apply in future? Things like that. So that will be my summer when I'm enjoying, my family, weather, Seattle weather. I am like just, internalizing, retrospecting all the things that happened. And then I come back in August with some goals for myself on what are the things that I'm going to achieve or grow in the next year. As a teacher, as a leader, as a business owner, few needles.
Do you write it down?
No, I don't have to write it down. Usually everything happens
in your head.
In my head, but it is chaos. But there is some order.
There's a magic for the chaos. I understand.
And then the crucial part comes in August, which is the hardest for me, is assigning kids to classes. The way I structured, I think this is where I'll talk a little bit about how the school is structured. The way when I started, 18 years back, there was no structure or anything. And as I had official Bollysteps, and then I had set of students who are coming back again and again. Now I had this opportunity of, students who are investing time in the school, and they are growing. And now I have the power to enable them to grow in the right direction based on what they want, not based on what I want. I think that's the growth in me as a leader. Is every kid comes with some dreams, some goals, right? How do you observe? As I go to each class, I'm observing what each kid wants. Some come because they love dancing. Some come because they love their friends. Something is bringing them, but one thing is making them stay.
And your responsibility is to find that out.
Figure out. And the journey starts there, right? So they are all coming from different directions for different purposes. But as a teacher and a student, we both have to hit to a point where we understand why you are here. Because I say this always, I know why I am there, right? I know why I am there in a dance class on a Sunday, leaving everything. That is also a lot of very important. I know why I'm there and what I am getting out of that time I'm spending on Sunday. I'm getting a lot, by the way, right? My students, everyone, have to know why they are coming. And it could be a very silly reason. I want to be with my friend. It's okay. It can be as simple as that. It could be I love dancing. But that's the start. The system is offering something more than that. Do you understand?
I do.
For that one person who came for a friend,
Yeah.
she thought she's coming for a friend. But the system is a buffet, right? So now
So now she may get an opportunity to be a leader or get mental health from her own dancing.
it's a buffet.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Now it's up
It's
to
an opportunity
you.
now.
It's an up to the student.
Yeah.
How much they can consume.
That is so
this
amazing.
yeah. So I always say this, that just because you go to buffet, you can't eat everything, right? You have to eat. You have to pick and choose. And you asked me previously. I don't think I answered. Scoping. I actually can stitch. I feel like I'm pretty good at designing clothing. I am good in making jewelry. I have also explored making silver and wire jewelry. I also took some singing lessons. I was in choir for many years. Not a good singer because I didn't practice well, but yeah, I could become a decent singer. Dancing, maybe modeling, maybe doctor, engineer. You start as you are evolving, you start. So it's not different when you come to Bollysteps, right? So you come for different reasons, then something clicks.
Yeah.
That is when you stick around, right? For some, it is just safe place to come and explore, to use their body language and gives them happiness. For some, it is becoming a good dancer or a choreographer or a teacher. So as a leader, over the years, I have realized my school should give every kid what they want as much as possible.
That is an aspirational leader.
One thing I kind of discourage is I want to be in my friend's class as much as possible. Because I want them to detach from the passion. But end of the day, that can be a start.
Yeah.
Right?
Why not? It could be encouraging.
But the best system is when they are happy. But there is a drawback also with this, which is the hardest thing for me as a leader, is to motivate a group of people, you have to show progress. To show progress, you have to have competition. The minute you have competition, there is disappointment. And the minute you have disappointment, there are some sad situations. Initially, as a teacher, I think I struggled a lot in this because, it's because I was seeing it in maybe silos, right? But now I understand that those disappointments are the best places where you can actually show growth, right? Why are you unhappy, right? Asking a child that question, because sometimes they also don't know why they are not happy, right? So I, as a kid, struggled being in a competitive environment. Now I am put in a situation where I am actually,
You've become what you hated.
I actually don't like it. Somehow you have to create these boxes.
Yes.
This is not my favorite thing to do in Bollysteps. That's why I say August, I cannot. It's my hardest time. Every time in the evening I look at the Excel, I'll be like, it's okay. I procrastinated so much because it's not easy. But you can't put everybody in one class, so you have to every year I try something. But I've gotten very comfortable with having those crucial conversations with parents or kids, right? And I've realized it's not about what a child thinks. It's about what you think is right for that child, for the class, and for the school. So you have to now step out of the child's but you have to care for the child. It's very important. You have to take time to make the child understand whatever.
In product management, isn't the child the user?
Yeah. Yes, yeah, definitely. Yeah. There is lot of, I think I learned a lot being a leader in Bollysteps. And then I applied that, in Microsoft. I learned a lot of, organization and, creating hierarchy,
Delegation,
leveling and
yeah,
understanding what level is, right? Being very clear about what each level is or each class is,
Yeah.
and then trying to do some structure, right?
Yeah,
So that
yeah.
obviously Microsoft gives me that structure. And then, I think the best part now is that this is not just about a dance school, right? There is dancing for sure. All these wonderful, beautiful kids are coming, and they are giving me an opportunity to be their teacher. And then we as Bollysteps are giving them a space to not just be a dancer who follows instruction, step 1, step 2, step 3, but if a kid wants to actually create choreography, you need to create a channel for them to become choreographers. And if a kid wants to teach someone else, they also should have opportunities to exercise those skills. If they want to do all, then that is there. If they want to be youth board leaders, and I believe in giving back. My grandmother always said your hand has to be like this, not like this. So I believe in giving back. So I love when kids basically use this platform to have a youth board and raise funds and give back to community. And then in this whole process, we are teaching them to be not just resilient, to care for other people, not just think about your dance, but you can think about, as an assistant, you should be thinking about other person. How do you teach, being responsible, reliable, right? And some kids who want more can actually exercise all that. Oh, I can rely on a teenager to help me, right? And we are teaching being reliable,
Yeah.
right? So all these
You're
skills.
teaching important life skills as well.
Yeah. And naturally, 12, we did the entire show with 6, 7 ladies, my friends, and then naturally students. That's
Yeah.
it.
I saw that one. I saw that one live.
Yeah.
You
So-
dance with your best friend as well.
Vinati.
Vinny.
Yeah.
Yeah, Vinity.
So yeah, my friends, I mean, of course, my family, Rohan, Kushi, Shaina, my mother have been great, Nirmala, have been like really foundation for the school. But my friends also, I have very close friends, Vinati, Kavita, Lakshmi, Neeraja, Silpa, and their husbands, all are like, working in big, levels in different companies. When they are coming, we are all just, working
Talking
as
about
labor, right? And I think that brings us back
To the ground.
to the ground. So yeah, I think the Bollysteps is all about a place where, at least my vision is, where you want a kid coming happily, right? That's the most important. And we should not deny anything. They want to become anything, they can become anything.
Yeah.
Why we should?
Yeah.
Of course, there are some guardrails.
Yeah.
It's not like, but
Yeah.
we should give them opportunities.
Yeah.
And I don't say no. The only qualification that I ask for an assistant is they want to be an assistant.
The desire.
That's it.
Just bring your desire.
And then show it in practice.
Yeah. I learned a lot about Neetha, child Neetha, the teenager Neetha who, recently got married. The story tells me that she comes from a very safe and, strong background of parents and, family and culture that doesn't stifle anything new that you want to explore, but at the same time puts a lot of impetus on you being responsible enough to figure out your own life and be, that great citizen that your grandfather always wanted you to be. How has all of that shaped Neetha into a mother?
I think Neetha mother goes back to my mother. Like, I think I'm a good combination of my father and mother. And the mother in me is very, very close to my mother. The parenting in me is very close to my father. I don't believe in forcing kids, but at the same time, I'm a very tough mom.
Yeah.
I say there is no free lunch for anyone.
Yeah.
Everybody has to go through struggles. That's how life is.
Yeah.
You cannot. So I think I base my parenting that my kids also will struggle, but their struggles will be different. But how you overcome those struggles are the most important thing. How do you pick up the pieces
Yeah.
and make something out of it is.
Yeah. Jack of alls, because they are interested in multiple things and they are multifaceted. For example, working at Microsoft and doing dance. Sometimes your colleagues don't understand that you can manage both the places equally well. There is sometimes reserved judgment, and so a lot of people I know, they hide at their workplace what they do. For someone like you, it's really difficult. You're on the posters, there are 500 students talking, Neetha is going to do this, and everybody knows that you do this class every year. How do you deal with anything such that? Is that ever been a problem to you or never?
No, I don't think. At least maybe it's because of Microsoft. It was never a problem for me. There's no conflict of interest, right? Like there's nothing. They are two separate things, and I'm doing it anyway outside of the
Work
daily,
hours.
work hours. So it's not any. There's no. It's not different, right? If someone is training for a marathon.
I agree, but
Yeah.
the thing is, what I don't agree with is the perception a lot of people at work would have if you are doing dance versus marathon. I think marathon in corporate is a little more accepted than doing, say, being a film actor or a dancer or something like that.
I don't.
I
Maybe
think it's
Seattle
just-
is different because I never had a problem because all the people that I work with, be it photographers, videographers, all the musicians here, they all, all the passionate people here are doing it.
Yeah.
Dance is no different. Work-life balance is very personal.
Yes.
Okay, so it's up to me how I want to manage. See, if I can be a mother and work, it's no different than me being dance teacher and a mother and
I
work,
agree
right?
with you.
Or I could be I could be a father who is actually coaching a soccer team on Sundays, right? I could be a marathon runner, no, like any gender, and I'll be training the weekend, right? I could be a musician practicing. It's no different for me. It's nothing to keep it as a secret. This is my passion, right? And I'm doing outside of work. So that was never a problem. The minute you want to hide something, you won't do good at it. You're not going to be good at it. I feel like you have to put your authentic self out there,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And the minute you have insecurities, it's not your best version. So I personally, my style itself is like I'm a very open book.
I see.
Like-
What are some tools that help you being this open book and managing your mental health? What are your views on that?
Dance helps in my mental health. In my case, I chose a passion that is actually helping me survive my other problems. I feel like if I didn't have this, like, for some it's going to work out, right? For me, it was going to a dance class teaching someone. Guess what? It's making money, right?
Yeah.
But it's more than that for me. Dance actually is so I'm so stressed for the whole week with work and everything, right? Being a hustler here. Sunday is when it's my time. It's me time. I see it not as work. I see it as a meditation. Because I am actually, see, meditation doesn't always have to be like you are not hearing, right? Meditation can be you putting yourself in an environment that is growing you, that is actually enabling you. So for me, going on Sunday to church and to dance helps me grow in many ways,
Yeah.
and come back to work and the work week with much more, positivity and,
Yeah.
uh, energy, right?
Yeah.
So it always, actually, I cannot imagine the other way. I cannot imagine me not doing this, and then I think I would be a very depressed person.
Yeah.
So this definitely, I don't know about people around me, you have to ask them, but this has definitely helped me in my mental health. Because see, you can have tough days. I can have the worst days the whole week, at work, at home. See, life happens, right? But Sunday morning at 8 o'clock, I am Neetha auntie or a dance teacher. That's it. Right? And I
Yeah.
am seeing 100 people, 200 people,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
It grew, right?
Yeah.
But what I'm saying, it started as 4 people.
Yeah.
That Sunday, no one knows what is happening in my life.
Yeah.
No one cares. No one knows. They don't need to know also. But they are looking at me. And everything I'm doing, someone is picking up on it. So
It's
I
valuable
have,
existence.
yes, so
Yeah.
I have to stop whatever I am doing and become a dance teacher.
Now, coming to the one last question I have in the fun part. Tell me all of the dancers and actors that have inspired you and why.
I can say Sridevi million times.
We covered that.
That's it.
No more Sridevi. This is not a Sridevi show, Neetha. No,
no,
you
but
can
I
say.
think definitely I learned a lot from her. Just be.
Is there off-camera work or personality of Sridevi that has also inspired you, or is it just on camera that you've seen?
I met Sridevi actually.
What?
Yes.
What were you saving this for? When were you going to say? Okay,
I have a
wow.
lot of stories.
Please go
Okay,
ahead.
so I've always. Okay, first let me answer
Yes.
personalities.
Yes.
So I think I always was in awe of Sridevi and her career, and I learned a lot just watching her movies, her dancing, her acting, her fashion. You named it, I learned a lot. I think this is how I observed. I never related myself to my peers. I actually related myself to her. So I think one of the things, my goals were always higher than my peers were, because I was thinking about what Sridevi is wearing and how I have to wear that versus what my peers were wearing at that time. So my focus was, so I think it will help me in keeping my bar high, in you can say, and also my focus, right? So I'll give it to her, and I think she continues to do that. And she may not know, because I was so in love with Sridevi and I was, big fan of her. My parents actually knew, and when my father was in Municipal Corporation of Hyderabad, he had access to all the parks and buildings. So sometimes when the shootings used to happen, one of the times he came to know that Sridevi and Chiranjeevi were doing a shooting.
How old were you?
I was 18 years old. So there was two occasions, and it actually plays a big role in my life also, because I learned a lot from them, both Chiranjeevi and Sridevi. If you are hearing,
Yes.
Chiranjeevi.
Please tell me in detail.
So we went. So someone actually helped us to go to the shooting, because they know that I am a big fan. So I went as a, or visitor there, and then I watched them from the sidelines. I think what I learned from them is the professionalism that they had. They were stars, okay, big stars. Chiranjeevi and Sridevi were like big stars at that time. But when they are in shooting, they are artists. That's it. They are two artists, and they are listening to the choreographer, what the choreographer has to say, and they are trying to do it. And they'll go and watch what they are doing, and they are discussing, and they're saying, it looks like we should give another shot. I think that is what I learned from them. Is in the shooting set, they were artists. directors, artists, choreographers, dancers, and they were very disciplined, very disciplined, and they were calling multiple takes to make sure they were looking good. They cared about
The
their
output.
job. They cared about how they looked and the output. Yeah. And I think the attention to detail at that level and not taking it for granted. Oh, they will watch. Audience will watch anything. They were not like that. Both of them were not like that. Both of them really cared about how they are doing the work and how the output is. And then the next time when the shooting was, and few weeks later, the shooting was moved to some park for continuing the dance sequence, I think. And then my dad got us a way to get to the shooting spot. And when we went there, someone in the crew recognized us that we were at so and so, because the first time we went through some connections, and they actually took me to Chiranjeevi and introduced me to him, and I was sitting next to him. And I had an opportunity to actually converse with him for an hour as an 18-year-old. It's a long conversation, so it's for another. But what I learned is humility. He was actually very humble person, talking to me for like 2 hours, learning from me. He was actually asking me like what I like about his acting or dancing, and what I like about Sridevi and her acting. And he was gathering data, and we are talking about superstars. And because I was just 18 or 17, 18 years old, I actually didn't think about the stardom that much. Now I feel like I was just having casual conversations, and I would, and everybody were actually coming and, touching his feet. And, but I'm actually conversing, and he's appreciating, he's respecting that. He's not saying, so I really learned how to be humble from him, because that whole 1 hour or 1.5 hours, he never made us feel like, we are nobody, right?
Yeah.
He was learning from me, and he was teaching us also. So I learned humility
And did you also get a chance to speak to
yes,
Sridevi?
so actually Chiranjeevi Garu took me to Sridevi and introduced me, saying that she's
No
your
way,
biggest fan.
Chiranjeevi Garu is so sweet.
Yeah, she said, the whole time she was talking to me, she was just talking about you. So I wanted, and he took the picture, and I have the picture also with me. He took the picture of me and Sridevi, and I think that is when I realized that I'm a dancer and not an artist also, because they were doing the same step over and over again, and there are too many takes, right? And I was like, oh, they have so much patience to do the same dance. And I realized that I'm a more theatrical dancer. One shot versus
Start to end. Yeah.
But so you will, as you go, you will see, right? And I had keen observation, and I was saying, oh my God, to do one step, they have to do 10-20 takes. And we are talking about Chiranjeevi, Sridevi. Usually their one take is so good.
Exactly.
And I'm thinking, why are they taking again? And I'm like already mesmerized by their first take. Right?
That is why they are that level of artists.
Exactly. And that is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like attention to detail, you should never lose that as your and you can't take your stardom for granted. Right? Their first take, I didn't see any mistake.
You're like, this is okay take.
Oh my God, I'm mesmerized.
Yeah.
I think I actually cried also when I saw it.
Oh my God. Chiranjeevi Garu, if you are watching this podcast for some reason, you have to give a call back to Neetha and say, welcome.
Yeah. So I think sometimes when you meet such great people, instead of just thinking like, they are great, but actually thinking why they are great.
Yeah.
So Chiranjeevi Garu is very consistent, like on screen, off screen also very vibrant.
He's on all the time.
Very. But Sridevi Garu is like, I can see she has mastered the switch off, switch on. The minute camera is on, you see a completely different person. Off camera, she's very reserved. She takes a book and she reads. And I observed, because I'm looking at my icon, right? Like, so And the minute the camera is on, she's completely transformed
Yeah.
and transforming herself.
Wow.
As she's doing that. It could be dance piece, it could be acting. I think it was amazing to see that transition in live, like in person.
Yeah.
So I think some people need to do that for them to get to that stage,
Yeah.
right? So performing arts, sometimes I say, you already chose to be on stage, might as well just switch on. And this is the best way to keep rebranding yourself, right? One day you are crying, one day you are happy, one day you are so in dance also, like you can
Emote.
like these are emotions, and you don't have to be identified. That's the best part, right? So you said, when you saw me, you saw that
Sridevi Roop, I am telling you, that's what I thought.
You made my day, but I don't think I came close. But I think as a child, as a 5-year-old, when I was seeing her, everything that I registered is what I am trying to translate onto stage, right? So, she wore white dress and she did Nagin dance. So, I am going to do that, right? It's good to have, role models, because they didn't get to that point just like that.
Without having role model. They also
had, okay, whether they have or not, it's a secondary. For me, if I am looking up to Sridevi or I'm looking up to Satya Nadella, when I'm a big fan of Satya Nadella when it comes to work, because he believes in being, having growth mindset versus, fixing things. Like, so what I am saying is, you looking up to someone, they came there with a lot of experience. I think if we double click on asking ourselves what made them come there, why they are there, we can learn a lot from that.
Yeah.
And then we can apply that too. So yeah, you could have mentorship, in-person mentorship, or you can have, explicit or implicit, right? You can do both, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Wow. What is the most memorable thing that you had a conversation with Sridevi that you remember? Or you took away?
She's a woman of very few words.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. So I basically showed her the photo that we took the first time. So I had it in my bag because it's such a prized possession for me. So I gave her the photo, and she looked at it, because I asked her to sign in the back, because now I have, right?
The autograph,
So she looked at it like in couple directions. And she said, lighting could be better. And then she signed. That's it. That's my conversation with her. So that actually shows everything that she is doing, she observes.
Wow. All of us went through some unprecedented times a couple of years ago when COVID hit. How did the Bollysteps and Neetha and family and friends and students kept it going and alive?
So what happened was, we were getting ready for the show, because our show was in May 2020. So that means I had almost 200 students at that time. We got all the costumes, we are ready with the performances, we are ready to go on stage. And in March, we had lockdown. So, and then everything, we booked the theater, everything, all the payments were made. I think the first time in my life, I felt like I was burdened with 200 children's, hopes, and their hard work. Like, we already worked, right? March is like just few more months, right? It was very hard for me it was not easy. Actually, the lockdown during that time, it was very specific to Bollysteps, if I have to say. I felt I was very responsible for those 200 students, for bringing their dream, but everything stopped. But I didn't realize that was actually the tip only of the problem, right? Because I didn't know that it will last 2 years. I was just focusing on Nachle.
right? I was focusing on costumes. I was focusing, I mean, of course, while I was focusing on, like, the scare of COVID, and making sure our family is safe, and everyone is safe, and we don't want, that is one aspect of it.
Absolutely.
Just very specifically to Bollysteps, I feel my focus was very on Nachle and the show, and we wanted to do it. Now we cannot do it, but that is nothing in comparison to what I had to do the next 2 years to keep the school functioning and alive and working, right? So I didn't even know, so I think my philosophy is about facing challenges and overcoming them, right? It's not about why it happened. Now, what can we do about it, right? So, very quickly after we couldn't make the Nachle, in couple months I realized that okay, it's done, right? Now what so I quickly changed to the online model, because at least we want to make sure that every kid is practicing and we are getting ready. Suddenly the lockdown is removed, we are ready to go. And then now I am resetting my standards, expectations. It's okay even if the show is not great, we will do whatever, because we are put to this test, we will do whatever.
Now, doing great is not important. Doing has become important.
So as the lockdown is increasing, I am changing my
course,
and setting my expectations and my but then what? The Nachle is done. The lockdown didn't go, right? We are still in lockdown. May is done, so our Nachle time is done. So everybody is still in lockdown. Come September, how do you convince parents and kids to come back for an all online class? I think that was one of the biggest challenges I faced in.
How did you manage to do it?
So I had two choices. One choice is I don't do anything until the lockdown is lifted, and I will pick up my pieces there. The other thing I was thinking about during the summer when we were in lockdown is, now you have 200 students, kids, who are not doing anything in lockdown. They are stuck in their homes. This actually is going to help them do some activity. So if I don't believe in the activity of dance and how dance can actually help mental health or help in general moving us, right? If I as a leader give up, now I'll have 200 people who are not doing anything anyways.
Because on the bright side, fortunately for a dance class, because of COVID, a lot of Indian dance classes have also moved online. So people were in their homes, they were okay with being off camera and seeing a teacher on the screen and just dancing. Do you think that was helpful or in the transition?
Not that much for me, because I'm a people person. So for me, actually, it was very awkward to see a screen.
I see. As a teacher, you had to adjust.
Seeing 12 kids and trying to. It's a different skill, I would say, right? We have to now work with that what we have, and we have not mastered that yet. So I won't say it came very naturally for me. It was actually very hard to think about 6-7 hours. I still had 10 classes, let's say 10 hours on Sunday, and just watching the screen. Imagine that. Right? And right is left is right, everything is it's not that easy. And I'm a people person. I like the connection. I like doing in person. That's my preference. But long story short is, do I want to do what I like, or do I want to do something that is need of the hour for my students? If I think about my students, then if I am doing it, at least I will have some percentage of families who will take this opportunity, and it will help the students, do something, right? And then this really actually helped me to think out of the box. I really started using the technology for the purpose. So moving everything on the cloud, literally using
Microsoft
OneDrive.
product
I am
manager.
OneDrive PM.
So this podcast is brought to you by Azure. Azure is a cloud computing solution from Microsoft. I'm just kidding. This is not sponsored by Microsoft or Azure. But yeah.
No. So I moved everything to OneDrive, like, all the videos, and started using the phones for their right purpose. So assistants started taking their videos on phone and uploading to OneDrive, doing breakdowns on paper, in the Excels, and doing breakdown videos and uploading to the OneDrive, music, everything. Now OneDrive became like
the central source of truth for all of you,
everything. Actually, what else did we do? We also did a recital. First, naturally, we did the recital with their own home videos. So basically, they took their videos, and then all the assistants, some of my daughter, they all helped in putting all the kids in one video, so that it looks like a group dance, right?
Wow.
So that was amazing. So we started using video, editing skills, and
to make it look like one group. Wow.
So that was the first year. The next year, that's how we motivated them to perform. The next year also, the lockdown did not lift, and I think it lifted, but we didn't have in person yet, something like that.
Yeah.
So then what we did was, we basically I started collaborating with another videographer who was upcoming videographer at that time. Now is actually very famous, Bhaskar. And he actually did a studio in his house for some purpose like this, but he didn't know. He also had a vision, and he just did it like videos.
Came to use.
Yeah, and then I took 100 students.
Yeah.
And we recorded videos, songs, and that was awesome. Like, we have the recordings of that, and then we edited and we gave. So each one did like a solo dance of what they learned, and then with the costume and everything.
So adaptability has a lot to do with sustainability. Is it true?
Yeah, you have to adapt. There is no other. Change is constant, right? Like, I think if we want everything to look same, be same, and challenges, no, that's not how it's going to work. And for me to grow as a businesswoman was one of the hardest thing for an artist to go
as a business person.
Yeah, right. Like one of the biggest.
I don't like numbers.
Yeah, I hate numbers, but the thought process of me scaling and making it big is not because of money, but to give more resources to what the kids you already have. So if I don't have big dreams for the school, then I'm giving the same thing to my students.
True.
Only when I can scale, I will give better shows.
True.
I can do more things. Maybe I think I should do a Netflix reality show about Bollysteps dance. That was one of my dream.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, the new things will come only when you grow. So I realized as an artist, if I don't have growth as my, key result, then what I am doing is a disservice to my students. And myself also, actually. Why should I take myself as an artist, right?
Absolutely.
Then I'm just doing here. I'm not thinking beyond this.
True.
So I think what you see in Nachle is because of that, right? Oh, I want to do elaborate shows. Then I need more people to fund the show, right? How do I get more people? How do I sustain? So these all things come because I have a bigger vision. So I was never a businesswoman. I don't even think I am right now. But I would definitely say the passion for dance and passion to experience bigger and brighter things help me to strike my entrepreneurship little bit. Wake once in a while, wake it up and I have to think big. So I have to see myself somewhere, or I want to walk this.
Different means to the same end, I guess. Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing all of your wonderful stories, Neetha. I thought I was going to interview someone this big and awesome, but you turned out to be this big and this awesome. And I think most of your students and all of the people listening will agree and enjoy. Hope you do win that Oscar, and I hope I and Mansa are also involved in that particular project. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
and
much. It was a
lovely
pleasure.
having you.